snack has played a huge part in my training camp. The protein, the ZMA, everything, the pre-workout, it's played such a major part in my training camp, keeping me healthy, keeping me recovered, keeping me feeling good, strong, and ready for my next workout.
I'm Thurman. We're here in Biloxi, man. Good job, by the way, on the telecast that we just finished up. I want to get your thoughts on Wilder and Fury 2, man. What's your take on what happens in the rematch, and really break it down for me?
You know, I have to admit, it's interesting. The badgering going back and forth between the two fighters. Of course, they had one of the most electric fights when they fought. You know, it's not every day where you get such a highly anticipated rematch. You know, obviously it was a draw, but it was how we've seen draws in the past that people don't want to see the rematch of. You know, there's a highly anticipated rematch. I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be there to witness this. I didn't witness the first one. I'm almost satisfied that there's gonna be a second one because I get to be there now. You know, and then still, you know, one of the greatest heavyweights of our generations, it's still up for grabs. That title, you know, is still up for grabs. And of course, there can still be a trilogy. There can be an ultimate rivalry here between Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. But it's very interesting that, you know, Tyson Fury is saying, I'm going to knock Wilder out this time, you know. I felt like, you know, obviously he's a big dude. He should have that punch in his arsenal, you know. He utilized a lot of his speed and his movement, and it was the movement. So maybe he just, you know, he's like, okay, I moved around him, this and that. I'm faster. All I got to do is sit down for a second, and he believes he can make it happen, you know. But we also know if he's sitting there and he's not moving a lot, and if he's trying to entice a knockout, you know, he can be getting knocked out by Deontay Wilder. You know, we've never seen Wilder go down.
No, yeah.
We've never seen Wilder go down. So, I mean, this is just a tremendous matchup. Wilder, looks like he's trying to utilize his jab a little bit more. I saw some footage of him in the gym, utilizing a little bit of more movement. He understands Tyson's speed. It's always better when you understand, you know, that a rematch, you get to repeat something that a lot of times two great fighters are meeting each other for the first time, and that I don't know you, you don't know me factor is always present. Well, that's no longer present, you know. But if Tyson Fury has a different approach, he can he can fight a different fight. You know, he always has the option to fight a different fight. But, you know, the speed of his jab, the way he moves, his height and reach advantage, Wilder knows what that feels like now. When the first time, it was a brand new experience. You know, he knows what that feels like now. I believe that, you know, hopefully that will, understanding how Tyson was and how he moves, how he likes to lean back and utilize his height. You know, if you take your pinky finger and you lean it back from the center, there's only from this point to this point, there's only so much degree. But when you have something that's taller and you lean it over, it becomes a bigger gap. It becomes a bigger gap. I remember when I sparred. It was actually, it wasn't Anthony Durrell, it was his brother, Andre Durrell. I sparred Andre Durrell way back when I was an amateur, several months before I ever turned pro. I probably turned pro like 6 to 8 months after that sparring session. But whenever he would lean back, you know, I mean, it was like he's there, but when he leans back, instead of it being like 3 inches because of his height, it's freaking 12 inches, you know. And I felt like, you know, when Tyson Fury leans back, it's like there's 2 feet there, you know. He's just such a monster, you know. Deontay, Tyson, both of these guys can be the boogeyman to the boogeyman, you know what I'm saying?
Beginning of the yang.
I'm just saying they're both monsters. They're monsters in size. They're monsters in ability. Of course, just like the first one, I'm red, white, and blue. I'm team Deontay all the way. I'm looking forward to a tremendous fight, a tremendous performance. I can't wait to be there to witness it. I know that he sets things into motion. He believes in the you need to believe to achieve, right? So when Fury is saying he's gonna knock him out, he goes, if he really feels that way, he goes, it's one thing to say something, it's another thing to say something that you truly feel, So I really just wish Deontay the best and to remain undefeated and to make America proud and just be great, man. We've seen so many different fighters in their styles, but people love punchers, people love knockouts, and you can say what you want about Deontay maybe not being the most well-rounded fighter in the sport of boxing, but he is the most dangerous fighter, hands down, in the whole sport, pound for pound. There's not anybody else out there that has the kind of explosive power of Deontay Wilder. So,
do you think Fury is saying he wants to go for the knockout? That's the right approach for this fight?
There were times where he was landing the right hand, and it's like, what if that was harder? Because he's so big, so you would imagine that the leverage could be there. But I think he was floating a lot, and he went down twice. I say this almost at every heavyweight event. Let's see who lands the first big punch. They're big guys, two tremendously big guys. Let's see who lands the first big punch. And let's see if Tyson Fury is actually trying to land a big punch, or if that was all talk.
Who do you think won the first fight?
It was. I wasn't really scoring it, but I always say, at the end of the day, Deontay Wilder had a knockdown in the 12th round to result into a draw, right? Which means that he was losing.
Yeah.
Okay. So. But at the end of the day, you can tell that he wasn't focused on winning rounds. A lot of people say that even his last fight, he's not focused on winning rounds. We don't know if he'll ever be focused on winning rounds.
Yeah.
But even if he's not focused on winning rounds, I don't think he needs to swing the way he opened up swinging at Tyson Fury. He clearly was trying to hit him with a monstrous big blow. So let's see if he can disguise it, because when he hit Victor Ortiz with that right hand last time, I mean, it was just straight right down the pipe, and it looked like any other right hand from any other day of the week, but it just happened to be just tremendously powerful and just boom, so down the pipe. I believe I don't think it was a slow jab. I think it was like a pawing left hook that ended up going into that straight right hand. But once again, Wilder fought somebody that was smaller than him, right? It's very unique when you're used to being the biggest man in the room and then all of a sudden you're not. Gotta be a very, very awkward feeling, And I feel like you can see the awkwardness in the first performance, right? But luckily, this is not the first time. This is not the first rodeo. This is the second time. So he should be able to take some keynotes. Both fighters should be able to take some keynotes. And it's just going to be very interesting. It's definitely not a night to miss, and that's why I'm going to be there.
Ultimately, do you think Wilder will get the knockout in this rematch?
Ultimately, I mean, we don't know. We know it can happen, right? We know it can happen, but we're not sure if it's gonna happen. He knocked him down once. He knocked him down twice, and Tyson Fury still got up, and most people don't do that. So at the end of the day, I think it just needs to be on the chin, you know? It just needs to be right on the button. And like I said, Fury always tried, even if he was getting caught, you know, he's trying to take something off those punches. He's trying to move his head, you know. So just, here's your center point. And then as you tilt, you see where it's pointing, you know? And as you tilt, but he's so tall. Look at this, okay? Here I am. This is where Tyson Fury is gonna be, okay? He's gonna be over here, not here. He's gonna be further. So, you know, he's always trying to take away from that power of Deontay Wilder. He's trying to make him miss, you know? I was saying, you know, a lot of times the boxing fundamentals is if you can make somebody miss like that, you're supposed to make them miss, make them pay. And maybe somebody got into his head and told him that, man, you make this guy miss a lot. You need to make him pay. And then maybe he feels like, you know what, I am gonna make him pay. I'm gonna make him pay big. I'm knocking him out. He knocked me down twice. I'm getting back in the ring. I'm knocking him out. You know, so I can't just say this guy's gonna do this or this guy's gonna do that. But I feel like we know what we're gonna see for the most part, which is somebody trying to dominate with their skills, and then the other guy doing what he does best, dropping bombs. But does he just drop the bomb, or does he actually put a little bit of tempo into it, try to keep up with Tyson's movement, cut off the ring, work behind the jab, and, you know, pretty much instead of just dropping the bomb, send a little a missile down the pipe, straight, covered, little cloaking behind the jab, boom, send the missile. You know, I would like to see that. You know, and Tyson, he was throwing a lot of triple jabs. You know, is he going to be that active with his jab in this fight, you know, in comparison to the first fight? And if so, you know, at that, he was doing a lot of those jabbings. I would like to see Deontay just sit there and just give it right back to him, a jab for a jab, you know, and not let him just float around and pretty much do what allowed him to do, which is get so many of those rounds in the books from the touch and go, touch and go, touch and go.